Hello, chat. Hello, chat. Hello. Hola, chat.
So.
I'll set you up here.
I'll set up your dad. I'm sorry.
I did need some chapstick. Would you feel comfortable encouraging people to subscribe to my channel?
Yeah. Subscribe to this dude. He's gay. He sucks cats for money. And he has a great channel.
She's so funny. Oh my god, I love her too. She's hilarious.
In today's episode, a train will race. The second gear will be engaged. And a Miata will forget how to Miata. I couldn't find much info on this video other than it's supposedly a durability test of the rear axles. However, I think the trailer could use some wheels, that way it could move much easier. Also, the movement of the truck reminds me of something that only men will understand. On a serious note, it's super impressive how much torque it could handle. While going through go-karting videos for no reason at all, I stumbled across this pro driver warming up his tires. It just looks super funny.
Oh my god.
Last year, to promote the Las Vegas GP, the Red Bull driver Sergio Perez did a fat burnout in a V8 era Formula 1 car, right next to people without hearing protection, inside a casino. You know you make a lot of power when your car is behaving like a caged animal on the dyno. This is a three-rotor Mazda RX-8 owned by Kamen. He competes in Formula Drift since 2007. Recently he had a crash, but the car is already rebuilt. GG.
Alright, so it looks like Whang Jr. letting Mohan stepping up. Yo, look at that. Flirt with the wall. That was really tight, man.
If you watched Mad Max Fury Road, you most likely haven't seen this. The Peacemaker. And yes, if it reminds you of the tank used in the Fast and Furious movie, you're right. This is the Repsol tank that was transformed into the Peacemaker for the movie.
Whoa.
Unfortunately, the film crew was so unhappy with the reliability of that thing that they cut out all of the planned scenes with this little super tank. It does sound insane though. Have you ever wanted to try Mario Kart in real life? I mean, you could just go to your local go-kart track, or you could travel to Ecuador to
Carrera de coches de madera,
aka the Wooden Cars Race. It is a tradition at this point. Also, some cars reach 60 miles or 100 kilometers an hour.
Oh my god, that looks so dangerous. That is very fast.
This is the GSMP competition in Poland. It means Górskie Samochodowe Mistrzostwo Polski, which more or less translates into hill climb racing. Here is a Honda Civic driver that crashed right when he crossed the finish line. He was okay, by the way. The reason for the crash? Cold slick tires in the rear. What is the cheapest way to build a camper van? Just find some old shed and slap it onto your truck. Easy. Here are two examples of Miatas going off track. because of losing the ability to steer, which in this case is caused by locking up the front tires. This one that got lucky
I'm bored. I'm bored already. It was interesting at first, but then too much car stuff.
And they catch Monica being bad. What are you doing?
Run.
Oh my god! What the fuck? That baby knew. The baby knew.
What is the tickle skin?
Glizzy.
That's it. Now you're not getting it for that. I'm not giving it to you for that.
Oh, you're gonna make me scream loud as
Yeah, I guess I am. Do it. Get
Is
louder.
that the action guy? That's the I put my cat on the mic guy!
Get your cat on the mic. There's nothing in this goddamn planet that'll make me get you that goddamn scream. Fucking scream.
I put my cat on the mic. What the fuck? What is this?
You slip through the crack in the mountain and transverse through the shadows. However, as you exit the pathway you've been traveling, a glowing green aura fills the rest of the cavern.
What the hell is this? Something doesn't seem right here.
As you peer around the corner, you see multiple dwarves and gnomes mining away at whatever mysterious material this is. You're currently unnoticed. What would you like to do?
Would I know what material this is that they're mining for?
Roll an intelligence check.
Oh, hey, nat 20.
All right, Artificer, as you slowly examine this odd glowing material in the cave, you remember hearing about mysterious components and minerals that could be used to create the most powerful bomb the realm's ever seen. This could be those materials of Mythos.
Holy shit, they're using this to build a bomb!
Possibly, but you wouldn't know that for sure.
I would like to cast Identify on the minerals and materials that are in the walls.
Wizard, as you cast Identify, you realize that this cave is full of uranium and plutonium.
Definitely using this to build a bomb. This is not good. Wait, hold on. Did you say uranium and plutonium?
Yeah?
Actually, that doesn't make any sense.
What do you mean?
Well, uranium maybe, but plutonium isn't natural. It's created in a reactor when uranium atoms absorb neutrons, so how would there be uranium in this cave?
Whatever, dude. F you, it's magic uranium.
Alright, that works for me, I guess.
Anyways, it becomes abundantly clear to all of you that these dwarves and gnomes are harvesting this material to build a bomb. What would you like to do now?
I would like to cast Illusory Dragon in the cave and attempts to scare off all the dwarves and the gnomes that are mining. So they need to make a wisdom saving throw as a dark and shadowy dragon appears.
Since there are so many of the dwarves and gnomes, I'm just going to roll 1 dice for all of their saving throws. Okay, and with a 4, you see that all the dwarves and gnomes cower in fear and begin to rush out of the cave.
Well, that worked. So now what? TM, as an artificer, would I know nuclear physics?
Did you literally just ask me?
Would I know nuclear physics?
No. No, you absolutely would not know. No way.
Is there a way that I could learn said nuclear physics?
No. You know.
Yeah, but obviously whoever the dwarves and gnomes were working for knows nuclear physics, so there has to be someone that...
Okay, wait. Pause the game. You cannot just learn nuclear physics. And even if the person that the gnomes and dwarves are working for knew nuclear physics, that just doesn't mean that they would just teach it to you. And even if they did, it would take a lot of time, and who knows if you'd even... be smart enough to remember it all.
I would like to use my divine intervention to have my god teach the artificer nuclear physics.
You know what? Fine. If you somehow get a 100 on your D100 dice, maybe I'll allow your god to teach the artificer.
Yeah, I got a 100.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Oh, wow. So does this mean...
Artificer. Suddenly, you're filled with divine knowledge of chemistry and science as you somehow learn nuclear physics. Are we happy now? Can we move on?
Everyone, grab a pickaxe. Yes, sir. We'll do.
What are we doing now?
Oh, we're definitely building a nuke now.
Why?
World domination. Bragging rights. Because we can.
You guys are f***ing ridiculous.
You know what?
This is
At
going
least
to
they're not
change
fucking
the
it.
entire foundation of this campaign.
Yeah, that sounds
At
like a
least
you
they're not
problem.
fucking
A me problem? You guys created the problem. And what are you doing over there, dude?
Oh, I'm just drawing out the design of the nuke.
The design?
Oh, yeah. See?
Why does it look like a penis?
To assert dominance.
At least it's not fucking. At least they're not fucking it, bro. That was funny. Okay, that was funny. I was skeptical at first, but that was funny. Thank you. What the fuck is this? Walgreens Defense Force. Roll to seduce the uranium. What is happening? What is this? What the fuck?
Been in the woods for the past 5 months, creating a new, darker, rebranded version of Mickey Mouse. That's just for Millennial and Gen X, Gen Z, the new generation. I'm gonna come out here in the woods, and I'm just going to embody Mickey here, because I would call Mick. And I'm gonna do kind of character walks. I'm gonna do kind of warm-up exercises. I'm just gonna improvise as him. I'm gonna feel the space. I'm gonna walk around as him, and I want to take him cheer, chipper, happy-go-lucky, everything is great guy. And I'm gonna take him down. I'm gonna take him down to the depth of the sewer. I'm deceived in character. And I just kind of know it. It's just kind of like having like it feels more like having an expert inside of my mind at all times.
I want to take him, I want to turn him from a mouse into a rat, put him in a cage, see what he's made of, and spit him out of the world. A demon, a devil, a bastard, and a hell.
What the fuck is this shit? It's 10 minutes long. I don't have the patience to figure out what the fuck is going on. Zoomer humor? I don't think this is Zoomer humor.
作戦開始全員出動ただいまより東京全滅神作戦の行動を開始する
It's Kamen Rider, Amazon. Amazon Rider.
Amazon Rider!くそこうなれば俺一人で作戦実行だバカめキノコの威力を忘れたかはららくそ貴様なぜカビが効かん
キノコ獣人すでにそのカビに力はない
なんだとそんなバカな
モグラの持ってきたカビで生き残った赤ちゃんの謎が解けたのだあの赤ちゃんは風邪をひいていたつまりそのカビはビールスキンに弱いそして解毒剤もできたモグラに代わって貴様を倒す
あのモグラめ貴様解毒剤を飲んでいたのかモグラ
we got him good. He sure got him good. That darn Kamen Rider.
Mr. Fujiwara, this morning you gave me a pink slip, Employee of the Month award, and Mother's Day card, all at the same time. I'd like to know what is going on here, as I am the last remaining employee.
What?
Hear me, Mr. Fujiwara? You've been acting very irrational lately. Fetch me a fire extinguisher. A good one, with a phone.
What is happening? It's the same hallway.
You have exercised at most discernment. Far beyond that of the layman.
What the f did I just watch? What the? What was that? What the f was that? Alright. Animal video.
Get your pillow. Here's your pillow. Get it.
It's a donkey.
He has a lot of traits that are not a donkey trait. Like he wags his tail like a dog. He'll lick dishes out of the dishwasher when you're loading it. He'll drink out of the toilet. He fetches. He's a very confused little man. He doesn't know what he is.
Aww.
When I found Tiny Tim in the barn, I thought it was actually a rabbit. He was so small. To give you an idea how small he was, this was the size he was, like the size of a little stuffed animal. Tiny Tim should have weighed probably 50 to 60 pounds at birth, and he weighed less than 10. When I had taken him to the vet, they had found out that his liver wasn't functioning properly. The vet didn't know whether Tiny Tim would even survive. I decided that I would give him the best chance I could by bringing Tiny in the house and nursing him, feeding him by bottle. We started out feeding him every 20 minutes with a syringe, 24 hours a day. Did that for a week, and then it went from that to every 40 minutes, and then every hour. What are you doing?
Yes. Yes. Yes, you are a good boy.
I initially hoped that we could reintroduce him outside, but because of his size, he would definitely be killed even by a real small donkey or a very small horse. What are you doing? I started to house train him, just kind of let him outside when the dogs were going out. And from then on, as soon as you said outside go pee-pee, he would go to the door with the dogs.
He's wanting to go outside, go pee-pee. Okay.
What a smart
dog. Guys, let's go pee-pee.
A pony!
It's so much easier than a dog to train. I'll take you outside here and show you where he is. Hi, Tiny. Hi, Tiny. How are you? Spin. Spin.
That's so
Good
cute.
job. Good job. Tiny, you say yes? Yes, good boy.
I like it when I see videos of strong animals
for over
that
8 months.
overcome
He's like a
adversity.
little child. When I was away a couple days, come home and he greeted me and he was circling me and honking and going on like really excited. That's my baby. Hi. Did you miss mommy?
you miss Mommy? Did you?
With my husband, he seems to be his pillow fight partner. Pillows have definitely been his passion. It started last summer. He would grab the pillows off the lawn furniture and throw them in the pool.
I know who got those cushions off. Did you do it? Yes? Don't do that.
I think his best days total was 22 pillows in the pool in one day.
What?
He's crazy. The more you laugh at him, the more he shows off. He's quite a performer.
Well, that was cute. Is this guy again?
And welcome back, I guess. And today we're doing Jeppson's Malört sausage. Now this is a Chicago tradition. It apparently tastes like earwax and hate. We're gonna give this a shot. I've never tried it before. It smells like ordinary liquor. It's so bad. It tastes like if whiskey expired. How did they come up with this? How did they know they were done?
Need some milk.
No, I don't need milk. I can't get the taste out of my mouth. Give me the bacon bits. What better? Do we have a bag I can... That's the Mark Ruffalo box, make a sausage.
You can empty it out when you're done.
No! I'm swallowing the bacon bits. That's what it comes down to. We're gonna make a sausage out of this?
You gonna pour seconds?
I was in such a good mood today. It's probably the worst liqueur that I've ever had. They call this the champagne of pain, and I can see why. This has no redeeming qualities in it whatsoever.
Who would drink that? Why would you drink something that tastes so bad like that?
It's time to make a sausage out of this thing. Let's begin. Now, of course, the first thing you want to do when making your Jeppson's Malört sausage is get a nice pork butt base. We got ourselves a half frozen, half thawed. Now we're making some sausage. The aftertaste is still there. Oh, right on the floor. You doing okay, Mark Floralo? You know what? It's probably still good. You know, let's complete our sausage here with a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and a Malört. You can feel the Malört. And to make sure that it doesn't leak out in the pan, we're gonna hit it with some cornstarch. Although I'm not really sure how cornstarch reacts with alcohol. My sausage takes the morning train. If I could change the ingredient of this episode, I would. Just like in college.
What?
Oh, that's the Malört water. In 3, 2, 1. Let's sausage. Let's sausage. Oh, the Malört is fighting back. And there it is. We slain this beast. All right. Will it blow? Oh, that was a good one. I'm gonna have to give that will it blow 3 Mark Ruffalos.
Why?
I lost my spray bottle. Here we go.
Oh god, that's gonna taste so bad. That's gonna taste so bad.
Probably good enough. Oh my god. Let's open it up and see how we did. It looks juicy. Here we go. I spit it out. It's awful. It tastes like gasoline. It tastes like someone continuously kicked you in the crotch. It tastes like the liquid that's at the bottom of the outside garbage can. It's not good is what I'm trying to say. This is officially now the worst sausage that I've ever tasted. It has a crispy skin, a nice sausage-like interior. The taste though just drives it all the way down to a 0 out of 5.
Bop, 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 bop.
Not only does it say pregnant women should not drink it, women in general should stay away from it entirely.
That's absolutely disgusting. Ugh, how can people do that? How can you do that? How can you do that?
A shinigami, huh? You know, my wife's got a friend who knows all about that. Spirits of death, she calls them. Real scary stuff. Sorry, I know you have school. You're a real smart kid. Anyway, this friend of my wife's tells me, oh no, you can just call me detective. She tells me they'll sometimes let humans muck around with their powers. Can you imagine? I don't know about you, but something like that would drive some to, righteous violence. What'd you say your dad did for a living? Oh, and, one more thing. Who's that gangly-looking fella you got with you there?
Oh my god, he could see him! He could see him the whole time!
A dad drank 50 beers every day for 6 weeks.
Justin?
This is what happened to his brain. JW is a 42-year-old man.
Justin?
Presenting to the emergency room with status epilepticus, a 15-minute seizure. Nurses use medicine to terminate his seizure, but 5 minutes later, JW starts seizing again. This didn't faze anyone because this is his second time presenting to the emergency room this month. JW was a dad. When his sons were young, he took them on a fishing trip. He told them he was gonna go get some bread and snacks for the fish, but he never came back. 12 years ago, JW started drinking every day. In the last few years, he had been admitted into the hospital 25 times for alcohol-related problems. He always told doctors about his boys and how excited he was to get better and be back in their lives. They're such good kids, he would say, but JW never got better. He always ended up back with his beer. About 2 months ago, medical staff leaving their shift from the emergency room would see JW on the street nearby, sitting on the floor, slumped over a pile of his own beer cans.
Sad.
No one could do anything about it. Day in and day out, JW didn't drink to his heart's content. He drank to just feel normal. 50 beers daily was his only dietary intake for more than a month.
50 beers?
Which gives us some clues as to what's happening to him. The medical team was familiar with drunk JW presenting to the emergency room, but this time, something's wrong. Alcohol is a nervous system depressant, meaning that it slows down all the processes of the brain. But a seizure is all of the brain processes firing off at the same time, opposite the action of a depressant. You don't usually seize when you're drunk at 42 years old. JW is still breathing. It doesn't look like he's ingested anything else. Drunk JW is not the person presenting to this emergency room this time, meaning that something else is happening to him. It's possible he could be suffering from alcohol withdrawal. Chronic misuse of alcohol builds dependence. This is a time when structures in the brain adapt to the excess amounts of ethanol placed in the body. Areas of the brain that are supposed to insulate electrical signals are stimulated by the alcohol, meaning after repeat stimulation, more and more alcohol is needed to maintain the same level of inhibition. This is modulated by GABA, which is an important neurotransmitter, and excess ethanol induces insensitivity to it. So, more inhibitors needed to hold a constant inhibitory tone. This is called tolerance, but it's not done here. Alcohol also blocks a chemical in the brain called glutamate that excites the brain. So
that means he's just constantly drinking all day. Oh my goodness. How can... Oh my gosh.
This area, more structures that receive glutamate are constructed here in the hopes that alcohol can't block everything, and that some of that glutamate can get through because the brain needs that excitation to function normally. Chronic alcoholic's brain is physically changed after years of misuse, so if JW hasn't had a drink for a few hours, electrical signals aren't insulated anymore. The increased numbers of glutamate receptors aren't blocked anymore, so everything gets excited, resulting in status epilepticus, creating a dependency on alcohol. If he doesn't drink for just a short period of time, bad things happen to his brain. JW sees this for the 6th time, and nurses terminate it again. But how can we be sure that JW has alcohol withdrawal? In between seizures, JW is confused and disoriented. When asked when his last drink was, he can't even slur out an answer because he can't even say his own name.
Oh my goodness.
If his only dietary intake was 50 beers every day for weeks, then he has protein malnutrition. He has vitamin deficiency, which are well known to cause neurologic issues in chronic alcoholics. Both of these could be an easy fix though. If he needs vitamins, give him vitamins and make sure he doesn't stop receiving those vitamins. Proteins can also be important here too, but more urgently, a blood test reveals that JW has chronic hyponatremia. Hypo meaning low, natri referring to sodium, or more formally natrium as shown by its symbol on the periodic table of elements, and emia meaning presence in blood. Low sodium presence in blood. Chronic meaning that this has been developing on a time scale of several weeks now, pointing us back to the 50 beers that he drank every day that are sitting inside of his body at the moment. Hyponatremia can be the cause of his seizures too, which brings us to the next clue. 50 cans of beer is more than 4.5 gallons of liquid that's been going into JW's body daily. Interestingly enough, in the emergency room, JW has barely made any urine at all, meaning that there really hasn't been a net flow out of his body. His body is holding on to all of that liquid. And it's not just from one day's worth of beer, it's a staggered accumulation over several
he's
weeks.
drowning internally?
But let's look at the name hyponatremia, low sodium presence in blood. Low sodium fits because in 1 can of beer, there's about only 10 milligrams of sodium. This is about as much sodium as in 1 cup of tap water. When natremia is measured, it's reported as the amount of sodium present divided by a volume of body water. So low sodium presence in blood can be caused by a large volume of fluid, like 4.5 gallons of beer every day. But this also means that a low value can be caused by an actual low amount of sodium going into the body.
I heard of that. Some lady, I saw a video about it, about some lady that she did a contest and she had to drink like gallons of water, and then she had to hold in her pee, and the person who peed the last one, and I think they won like money or a trip or something, and she drank like, I think she drank like 2 gallons and never went to the bathroom, and I think she got really, did she pass away? I think she did. She went home because she said she was feeling sick and she had a headache and she needed to lay down, and she passed away. Yeah, it was a radio station, Jesus.
Usually hyponatremia is a problem with water because that's harder for the body to balance when something is wrong. But if JW's only dietary intake for 6 weeks was...
It was for a wee? Oh yeah, wee for the wee! I remember in the video. That is so fucked up,
50
bro.
cans of beer daily, then this means that he has both a lot of water that he's holding onto, and he has very little sodium in his body because beer doesn't really have salt in it. But sodium isn't the only electrolyte that matters here. Beer also doesn't have potassium. Potassium also has an influence on body water through its impact on urine production, but JW also has hypokalemia, or
extremely low on potassium. That is really bad. That is really bad. That's happened to me before. It was bad. It was bad. I couldn't move. I was like a mummy. 'Cause my potassium level was at 1. I went down to 1, and well, I didn't know that if that happens, you turn into a living mummy. And it was, I couldn't move. I was like my arms and legs were like frozen in place, and it was so painful. I never experienced anything like it, and I didn't know that that was possible. So I had to get like IV medicine for it, and for some reason, like I kept on. So they would put the IV in me, and then I'd start feeling better. But then after like a couple hours, it would start happening all over again. And I was like that for like a week to almost 2 weeks. And it was, I don't exactly remember what it was, but it was like around the time when like I was having a lot of stomach issues and I was having like malabsorption problems and stuff. And it was a very scary time.
Low potassium presence in blood because of that beer. Both
Yeah,
sodium
my
and
heart was
potassium
going
electrolytes
crazy, too. I
interplay
was
with
having a lot of
urea,
issues.
which is a breakdown product of protein in the kidneys to help produce urine. And JW hasn't eaten any protein lately, although if he hasn't eaten for weeks, then his muscles should be wasting away in atrophy, and this could count as protein.
I almost died, but I was in the hospital, and they gave me IVs to bring it back up, but it was a struggle. But I'm still
to
alive,
make urea
bitch!
for urine, but that isn't happening because beer has carbs. Carbohydrates, which in the body are broken down to sugar and water. Sugar induces the response of insulin, an anabolic hormone which prevents the breakdown of muscle, meaning no urea is available for urine production, along with hyponatremia and hypokalemia. These are all causing him to hold on to all of that water because the kidneys need to exchange these when it makes urine. This beer podomania, podo from an ancient Greek word meaning to drink, and mania referring in this case to an excess, is a hypotonic hyponatremia that is causing all of JW's problems. Samples of the little urine that he's made since presenting to the emergency room were analyzed. No solutes were found, meaning that his urine was maximally dilute. But this should make sense. We've already established that he's got a lot of water inside of him. When someone is well hydrated, the urine is supposed to be dilute, but well hydrated in JW's case is an understatement. He should be bursting at the seams with fluid overload. He should be puffy and swollen everywhere. He should be peeing every couple of minutes, but he isn't. He looks mostly normal. So where exactly are those hundreds of cans of beer inside of his body? Well, body water is supposed to have 0.9% sodium chloride. In the medical world, we call this.
Oh my god. Look at that fluid bag. I'm sorry, I just got whiplash because I used to get these all the time.
This isotonic.
Yeah, I used to get these
this
all
means
the
that
time.
for every 1 liter of water, there's 9 grams of sodium chloride, which is this table salt. 0.9% is thousands of times more sodium content than beer. Most of the body's water isn't actually in the blood. It's inside of the cells, and it exists as 0.9% sodium chloride. Sodium creates something called an osmotic gradient, which means that wherever sodium is, water will flow towards it. In this small science experiment, I dissolve salt in this water and place it into a tube. I submerge the tube in a pool of water that has no salt dissolved in it, and you'll see that water flows into the tube. That water flows towards the sodium. So, if his body water has been diluted by hundreds of cans of beer, then it means that the water inside of his cells is saltier. And because water flows towards where there's sodium, then JW's body water is flowing into his cells. This would mean that his organs, like his liver and his intestines, are starting to swell with water.
Oh, no.
That should be okay, though, because the abdomen is soft. But what about the brain? It's enclosed in a hard space. The skull has only room for a brain expansion of 8% before it starts to crush up against the sides of the skull and ooze out into the sutures or the gaps of the skull, pinching blood flow as parts of JW's brain start to necrose or quite literally die. This damage upon brain expansion is known as herniation and means permanent brain damage in JW's case, bringing us back to his seizures. If JW's hyponatremia is caused by a low daily intake of sodium, then simply just giving him salt is going to fix his problems. Interestingly enough, this is one of the few instances of hyponatremia where giving just salt is the fix. But the medical team can't give him tablets by mouth because he's disoriented. Giving him anything by mouth could cause him to choke. So he's given a small injection of 3% sodium chloride.
Whoa,
Small injection because he
3%.
doesn't need any more fluid, and 3% sodium chloride being saltier than isotonic 0.9%
The
saline.
3%.
Within a few hours, JW produces gallons of urine. His kidneys are able to exchange the salts for water as it starts pouring out of his body. His seizures stop and he regains consciousness while medicines are given for his alcohol withdrawal. The medical team repeat the 3% sodium chloride injection 2 more times throughout the day to help with the cerebral edema. As the days go by, JW's sodium levels normalize. He's in stable condition. He gets vitamins and proteins. He recovers and is well enough for discharge from the hospital. But just before doctors sign off on the discharge, JW complains of general weakness. His speech is slurred and incoherent. Neurology consult finds coordination deficits in JW. His movements in the limbs above his waist were uncoordinated, with intended positioning often missing the target at varying lengths. This is called dysmetria. Dys meaning wrong and metria meaning length. Similarly, he had dysdiadochokinesia, meaning that his ability to perform rapid alternative
Did he
movements
suffer
was
damage?
compromised.
Permanent
All of this
damage?
pointing to some possible neurodegeneration in JW that has worsened since his hyponatremia was corrected days ago, because he didn't have those problems back then. He's not ready to be discharged. As the hours go by, he becomes weak in all 4 limbs. Nurses ask him to move his arms and his legs, but no response. His muscles are floppy as his limbs become paralyzed, and an MRI of his brain reveals that JW has central pontine myelinolysis. Lysis meaning a breaking down of myelin, the conductive sheath that covers nerve cells, and central pontine referring to the central pons of the brain where it connects to the brainstem to deliver nerve impulses all throughout his body. If his hyponatremia has been corrected and JW has been sober for many days now under medical supervision, then how could he just suddenly become paralyzed? Well, do you remember the name chronic hyponatremia? Well, chronic means that his body has had low sodium presence in blood on a time scale of at least weeks to months because of that 50 beers only that he drank every day. When sodium presence in blood starts to decrease, water starts to flow into the cells pretty quickly. The brain does start to swell a bit in this initial phase, but the brain has an outlet called the cerebrospinal fluid, which flows into the spinal cord and cushions the brain inside of the skull. When hyponatremia is chronic, the swelling, even if it's slow, keeps happening, and the brain is forced to pump out organic salts, or carbon-containing salts, to further prevent the swelling. These organic salts are like sodium in that wherever they are, water will flow towards them too. So when they're out of the brain, water will follow them out. And because of this adaptation, this is why JW's brain doesn't immediately swell up after just a couple of weeks of drinking 50 beers every day, because as he was slowly losing sodium day by day, the adaptations in the brain were adjusting to the chronic hyponatremia. Sodium correction in a patient like JW is difficult because of all the metabolic derangements inside of his body, some of which are unmasked after initiation of therapy. His adapted brain started to shrink in the presence of sodium. Sodium and potassium rushed into his brain cells by design without the proper presence of those organic salts, because those take time to get pumped back in to the brain cells. When there's a high sodium presence inside any cell, the DNA there starts to break. The cell thinks it's been mortally damaged and initiates programmed death because of those DNA breaks. This happens to all cells in the body, and it's a defense mechanism against things like cancer. But in the brain cells, the myelin sheath in JW sloughs off, and parts of his brain start to die again, leaving him paralyzed for life. Chronic hyponatremia is a completely different case from acute hyponatremia, where the brain hasn't had time to adapt, meaning that the correction in the case of acute can be quick and aggressive in an effort to save someone from the cerebral edema and the resulting brain herniation. Beer potomania can be difficult to identify if you don't know what you're looking for, because electrolyte disturbances are just so common in chronic alcoholism. And chronic alcoholics might not tell you exactly what happened because they might not even know themselves. About 18% of patients who have beer potomania are at risk of osmotic demyelination, and hypokalemia and hypophosphatemia are increased risk factors for it, especially since these patients are almost always severely malnourished, just like JW. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself and be well.
Poor JW. That's a tough subject, man. It's tough, especially if you've lost people to alcoholism and alcohol withdrawal stuff. It's hard. I have quite a number of friends who have had their lives affected by a loved one who has either gone through it or passed away because of it, and it's a lot, you know. And I've had family members that struggle too, so it's hard, man. You don't really think about alcohol doing that because it's just so common everywhere, and people, it's just a normal part of life, a normal part of being a human, hanging out and drinking and stuff, but you don't really think about, you don't really think about that sort of stuff. Oh, I love you guys. I'm sorry. I am in a lot of pain. I am in a lot of pain now. And it's starting to go up into my head, and I'll have a headache. I've been in excruciating pain this whole time. It's why I wanted to come on. But yeah, what? I've been in an excruciating amount of pain this whole time. But I'm okay. I'll be fine. It's just, you know what though? Like, it really, really hurts, but I have a very high tolerance for pain. It's just the second it starts affecting my head, that's the one pain that I cannot tolerate. I cannot tolerate headache at all. That's the only... I can tolerate extreme pain all over my body, except for my fucking head and face. So when it starts taking over my eyes and I'm noticing that I'm starting to like squint because it's starting to hurt, and the ringing in my ears is getting louder, so I think it's time for me to lay down. Bye-bye, good night, good morning, take care of yourself, eat well, sleep well, take care of your body. Bye!